This is a very interesting topic. We all are just out of the COVID situation now. Hopefully things are getting a little better now. But how to keep calm amidst chaos is a very important question in life. Because chaotic situations do come in everyone's life, sometime or other. So just like you see in the picture here, one girl is overwhelmed by her studies. She's collapsed, while the other one is appearing confident. So in a student's life also, like you see the midterms and tuition and grades and depression and schoolwork and peer pressure and so many things, they bring about a chaotic situation in a student's life. In the same manner, when COVID came, some of the 900 crores companies came down to 300 crores during the COVID time in US. So that caused a great turmoil for them. And also many were afraid of being laid off from the companies, both for the employer and for the employee when there are trying situations. So in life, so how do we keep calm? And how do we keep a cool head and go on in such a situation is a very important question. Because we are living in a world which is uncertain and uncontrollable also. It is not only uncertain. Many times, situations are uncertain, but they are also not in totally in our control. Actually, modern man professes himself to be the crown of all the species of life, because he has controlled the elephants, he has controlled the lions and tigers, he has brought them to the zoo. So it appears that man has conquered everything. He is sending rockets to other planets, and he is flying jumbo jet airplanes to different parts of the globe. The globe has become shrunk now, practically because of big planes flying. At the same time, man cannot be very proud of his control, because a tiny creature called the corona, which you can't even see with your eyes, is controlling the whole world now. Where is man's control? You can't even see with your eyes, and there is so much of life threat. And we saw in the last couple of years so many people losing their lives. So in this world, we can see two distinct entities. One is called Jada, another one is called Chetan, we call it. Jada means dead matter, like this is Jada. And Chetan means like all of you are Chetan, conscious. So any of us can perceive these two in this world. There is Jada and Chetan. Unconscious. So the unconscious is called matter. And the conscious living beings have thinking, feeling, willing. Correct now? And you will see that the conscious living beings are superior to unconscious matter. For example, America, it was an empty, vacant land for many years, until Columbus discovered America, isn't it? And then the Europeans entered into America. And then subsequently, you see in a few hundred years such a, sky-rise towers and broad roads and communication systems and, transport systems and, political systems. And you can see the whole country developed in a matter of few hundred years only. So which means the living beings can manipulate dead matter. Therefore, living beings are superior. Like, for example, in an airport, an aeroplane is standing. Maybe for a million years, it will not budge an inch at all. But when a small pilot walks to the plane and enters into the cockpit, then the plane takes off. That means the matter is activated by spirit. Up to this, is it clear to everybody? So what are the two entities in this world? I can ask a question in between, okay? What are the two entities here? Jada and Chetan. And Jada means matter, dead matter. And Chetan means conscious spirit. Yeah. Now out of the two, which is superior, which is inferior? Spirit is superior. And matter is inferior, yeah. So in our chemistry, we have studied about Mendeleev's periodic table, 120 metal elements. So they are all matter. They are all Jada, as you said. They are all dead matter. But we can take those elements, manipulate them, and we can actually, do many things. Like, man has made a computer. He has made a smartphone. He has made a, this thing, mic stand and a mic and everything. So now what modern man thought? In this way, he can manipulate everything. around in this nature, and he can lead a happy life. So man started manipulating everything in the world around. The more he manipulated them for his comfort, at one point of time, man realized that something is missing, seriously missing, which is happiness. Man is missing that happiness because in this world, you will see that there are two things experienced by every living being in this world: inadequacy and insecurity. These two words are used. Inadequacy means man thinks if I accumulate more and more goods, I'll become happy. He thinks that if I have a car, I'll be happy. If I have a little bigger bungalow, I'll be happy. If I have a little more nice new dress, I'll be happy. Or if I get a little promotion in my post in my company, I'll be happy. If I have a little more fatter salary, I'll be happy. That's what everybody thinks like that. So therefore, he feels a kind of inadequacy. And in order to compensate for the inadequacy, he accumulates more and more. More number of clothes and more ornaments and more vehicles and everything. And another thing in this world we can see is we feel insecurity. I said, what is insecurity? Insecurity means a want of love, want of safety, want of protection. We all are looking for, is there someone who cares for me? Is there someone who genuinely loves me and without any expectations from me? So these 2 points, what I am telling you, is not at all difficult to understand. It's very easily observable in everybody's life. We are looking for genuine friendships, genuine relationships, but we are living in a world where there is all around exploitation around us. So there is always a fear in connecting with anybody. Anybody comes close to you, you fear why this person is coming close, what does he or she want from me, and that kind of fear has come now. Because the business, there is a fear between doctor and patient now. In those days, when doctors would treat you, they would cure you and send you off. But now the doctors want you to be a customer for whole life, because they treat you as a potential customer. And not only they want you, they want all your family members also. You bring more people to them. So similarly, between teachers and students also, the teacher doesn't teach in the college, they teach outside the college in a tuition center better. So if you want good marks, you'll go for a tuition. So there is a trust level has become low in the world due to lack of good relationships. You can see that. So that's what I'm telling you, insecurity. Insecurity means want of love, want of attention, want of protection, want of safety, want of security. To be owned by somebody who is non-exploitative and with whom you have a genuine relationship. So in this world, one person we can think of like that is our mother. With mother and child relationship is simply supposed to be non-exploitative. And that's one of the reasons why people come home seeking that security. People return to home seeking that security, safety, when they come. So where is these two things? Like this one, this mic system, does it have a need for adequacy or security? It doesn't have. Dead matter does not have any emotions, no thinking, no feeling, no experience. It is dead actually. It will remain like this million years. It will not just move at all, because it is dead matter. But living bodies means they have thinking, feeling, willing, consciousness, and we also have we have a need for security and adequacy. I said. Now, why did I introduce these two terms to you? Here comes a very important point. Now I'm going to tell you. The spirit is different, matter is different. The spirit, in the scriptures, in the Bhagavad Gita 15.7, Lord Krishna says, the spirit is actually of the same nature of God. So the spirit is a tiny part and parcel of God. Being tiny, if he acts the way God acts, then the spirit can be most happy. For example, some universal laws I will tell you. If you act selflessly, you will be happy. But if you don't act selflessly, you are going to act selfishly, you are hurting yourself. You may not know how. It's only a matter of time. Most people do not know this secret. If you act, for example, It is said, Paropakaraya vahanti nadya, Paropakaraya phalanti vriksha, Paropakaraya duhanti gava, Paropakaraya idam shariram. It is said, you can see in God's creation, God himself is selfless and his creation is also selfless. For example, the mango trees are giving mangoes without charging you any money. You can also see that rivers are flowing without any asking any money, they're giving you water. The cows are giving milk without asking for any money. Some man comes in between the cow and you and asks for money. But the cow doesn't ask any money. A man comes between you and the mango tree and asks for money. But the mango tree doesn't ask any money at all. So you can see that in God's creation, the rain shower, the flower blossoms, the fruits ripen, the crops grow, and the grains are yielded by the earth. The Navaratnas are given by the ocean, and the gold and silver and diamond are coming in the mines. You can see that. But God doesn't charge you anything for any of this. He gives you all free. You can see that. So if God by nature, therefore we say God gives and forgives. We get and forget, we say. So if one can understand God's true nature, and then we exhibit the same nature in a minor proportion at least, then we will experience happiness. So one of the very first things I introduced to you now is selflessness. If there is selflessness between parents and children towards one another, and if there is selflessness between husband and wife, selflessness in relationships, that is actually the beginning preliminary step of goodness. It's a preliminary step of goodness. In the same manner, you will see, the part means the part has to be happy only by serving the whole. I'll tell you a very simple example. You are working in a company, you have to please a boss. Correct now? Can any of you say that you work in a company, you don't care about the boss? Can any children say that I don't care about the teacher and I don't care about the marks? You can ask any children. Child has to please the teacher. Any person working in a company has to please the boss. Similarly, every living being can only be happy by pleasing the supreme boss, which is God. And people don't even ask, who is God and what does he want us to do, what is right, what is wrong. People don't even ask, and that's why they are unhappy. That's the reason for the unhappiness. So the first thing I told you is the spirit by nature is selfless, but if we act selfishly, we suffer. In the same manner, selflessly, what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to know what is I'm whose part and parcel. I'm part and parcel of God. Like you are part and parcel of America, for example, if you are an American citizen. You drive the car on the right side. In India, if you are a citizen of India, you are driving the car on the left side. Every country has country laws, correct? No? You go to company laws. You go to school, there are school laws. You tell me a place where there are no laws. Is there any place where you are not, you are not obliged to anybody? Everywhere we are obliged to somebody. Similarly, in the ultimate sense, we are obliged to God actually. So, the two words are used, inadequacy and insecurity. This will be nullified if we are strongly connected to God. Because God is the ocean of love. And we are a tiny part and parcel. He can flood our hearts with love. If we can connect with Him, if we have that connection. So then we don't feel insecurity. You feel loved, protected. I'll tell you a simple example. Once I went to South India. My sister's family lives in Coimbatore in South. So I once went and batted the door. Her small kid, he was like a 3-year-old boy, 3 or 4-year-old boy. Of course, he opened the door. So he saw me first time, strange with shaven head and shaven tilak and all that. He got frightened. He ran to his mother and he wrapped himself in mother's saree around, and he was seeing like this and covering himself, seeing like this and covering. I was just laughing. So, and then my sister told him, hey, this is your uncle. Why are you afraid? Come out, offer namaskar to him and all that, she said. So slowly he gave up his fear and, he was staring at me. Then I wanted to pacify the child. So I took out some sweet, from my bag and I gave it to him. And immediately looked at the mother, and the mother said, go ahead. And then he accepted. So I made an observation in that child. 2 observations I made. As soon as there was danger, he went and wrapped himself in mother's saree, which clearly shows where is his shelter. He is getting shelter in the mother. So which means any danger will befall upon him. that child will only go to mother. Because that is where the child feels my shelter is, my protection is, my safety is, my security is. And in this world, the child doesn't know anyone other than the mother. Now, in the same manner, secondly, when I was giving a sweet peda to him, did he accept? No, he didn't accept. Why was he looking at the mother? Because mother has trained him that anybody gives anything to eat, don't eat. Unless you confirm it from me. Any stranger may give anything, correct now? So then she said, go ahead, then only accepted. In the same manner, a devotee of God means, in one's life, one can rush to the feet of God and one can see safety, security, protection, love, everything there. And also one will not do anything that God is not pleased with. So one will not. So this is the way the devotee's life is. Then you have no insecurity and no inadequacy in your life. But most people don't take out time to learn about God. Most of the time goes in, firefighting, as we say, in this world, run here, run there, earn a degree and, fetch money, build a house, get a car, get promotion in the company and then somehow or other finish your project and you have to submit and you hop and jump to a better job, better money. So most of the time goes off in this world in sorting out the problems and situations in this world, and we don't lift up our head to understand who God is. Why did He create this world? Why am I here? What is the purpose of this world? And we don't ask these questions. So the scriptures say this world is not a hotel. This world is a hospital. What is the difference between a hotel and a hospital? When you go to a hotel, he gives you a menu and you can tick mark what you want. You choose what you wish to eat. When you go to a hospital, they don't show you a menu. They give you a prescription. And you have to buy that medicine and eat it, even if it is bitter medicine. Do you buy the medicine that doctor prescribes for you, or you buy a medicine which is sweet and enjoyable for you? Yeah? Yes? What doctor prescribes. So, then you may have a question, what is the disease in this world? What is the disease in this world for which we need the medicine? You may ask a question. Anybody can say, what is the disease in this world for which we call this world as a hospital? Why do we call this world as a hospital? See, all of you agree that in this world there are pains or no pains at all? There are pains. There are pains from the body and mind. There are pains from other living beings also. There are pains from the natural calamities or pandemic, which is just recent experience we have. So these pains are unpleasant for us. We don't want them, but they are all around us, in our body, in our mind, in our people around us and everything. So anybody in this world is making an effort to get rid of pains. Do you agree? Do we try to get rid of pains, or you don't try to get rid of pains?
It is better to get rid of the pain.
We want to get rid of the pain, correct? No? We all try to. So we want to get rid of the pains. But what is the cause of the pain? Did any of us ask? Because pains don't come just like that. Every pain has to have like somebody is demoted from the company or fired from the company, there must be a cause. Isn't it? Or somebody is put behind the bars, there has to be a cause. So the scriptures say that one should ask this question, why this world is created. The scriptures say a very simple explanation, I will tell you. If a child is, holding on to the mother's and father's hand, when the child is very small, the child is very happy with mother and father. But when the child grows a little bit, the child wants to leave the hand and run away to the street. And child likes independence, especially when child becomes 10, 12, 13, you can see that, correct now? When children grow a little bit. So, but when the child leaves the parents' safe custody, sometimes the child faces danger. Sometimes he sees an elephant coming or a lorry coming, truck coming or something. Then he rushes back to the parents' custody. Similarly, all of us, we have turned away from God and we have come to this world for independence. But then we find we are ourselves not able to tackle our lives. Just as in every one of you sitting here, you may seek the support of your mother, father, brother, sister when you are in danger in this world. But even they are not able to fully solve your problem many times. Because they themselves are facing some other problem. Then they are also seeking your support. Sometimes you get problem, you go to them. Sometimes they get problem, they support you. But actually the firm, strong shelter, safest shelter for everybody is ultimately God. About whom, if we don't cultivate knowledge, then the problems in this world become much more magnified, simply due to our ignorance. Like you see that the sky-rise towers, if you are standing on the road, they look very high. But when you go in aeroplane, they look like matchboxes. Actually, the more you elevate yourself spiritually, the problems of this world will become insignificant like matchboxes. The more we are going to be on the ground level, simply sorting out problems one after another without any spiritual, philosophical understanding, or without any understanding of goal of life, purpose of the world. We just go on with the rut of life. Now, the rut we call it. Most often, most people do that. And then we will have to face the problems which are like sky-rise towers. And therefore, people get depressed. People get depression. People get psychosomatic depression. Many problems people face because of that. So therefore, this session, you will see now, I have given an introduction now. You feel confident or you feel overwhelmed? See, sometimes you are healthy. You are seeing it here? Yeah. Yes. Sometimes you are healthy, sometimes you are sick. You are happy when you are healthy. You are not happy when you are sick. Sometimes we have to face the death of near and dear one. Sometimes you hear a good news, other times you hear a bad news. We are actually taken through different type of situations in this world. So Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, there's a beautiful verse. Na prakrishyet priyam prapya no dvijet prapya cha priyam sira buddhirasam modo brahmami brahmavitsitah. He says, sometimes when you get a pleasant news in this world or unpleasant news, you keep yourself cool-headed and don't become elated, don't become depressed, he's saying. There's a reason for this. Why? Just like summer and winter seasons come and go in this world. Similarly, the pleasant and unpleasant moments will come in this world. But if you are going to too much become preoccupied in them, then Krishna says, then you'll forget the ultimate goal of life. The ultimate goal of life is, now I'll tell you the ultimate goal of life. See, there is a spiritual plane, there is a material plane. Right now we are in material plane. Spiritual plane, we are very pure. When we come to material plane, we become covered by varieties of impurities. Like rainwater is pure, but when it falls on the ground, it becomes muddy. Again, it can be revived to the purity platform back again. So we all have come from a spiritual plane to mundane plane. From this plane, if you go back to spiritual plane, there is boundless bliss, unlimited happiness. And the scriptures say that human life is only meant for that purpose. There is no other purpose. It says that asatoma sadgamaya. Heard this? Tamasoma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. From this world of death, we should go to the world of immortality. From this world of darkness, we should go to the world of wisdom. From this world where everything is temporary, you should go to the world where everything is permanent. From this world where there is old age, disease and death, you should go to the world where there is no old age, no disease, no death. The spirit has no old age. The spirit has no disease. The spirit has no death. The spirit soul is pure, completely pure. But now the spirit soul has become covered by some impurity. Just like imagine one of you, when you came to the class now, if you came with the socks inside, and in case your socks is not washed for months together, so it is stinking. And people may say that, oh, why are you nasty smelling? Actually, you are not nasty smelling. Your socks is nasty smelling because of socks. So you remove the socks and wash your feet under a tap, and then you come in. Then no more bad smell. Similarly, we are covered by an impurity, and that impurity is causing us problems. So scriptures say that remove that impure covering over you, and the pure spirit soul in relation with God will be most happy, he says. So now what happens, that impurity in us, that is actually causing us in this world turmoil with one another. We cause trouble to each other. Like for example, some angry man, he makes others upset. He also gets disease inside his body because of becoming extremely angry. And he also speaks harshly and makes others become sad. Correct, no? Similarly, a greedy person is not satisfied with God-given gifts. He is always looting others' property. In this way, by accumulating more, he thinks he'll be happy, but he increases his headache. And he also makes others suffer also. So you will find these impurities actually make us suffer and makes others suffer. So now, what Lord Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, there is a method by which you can go back to that original plane from where you have come. And that is actually called as a spiritual practice. Like we chant Hare Krishna, we come to these classes, we ask questions about the nature of spirit, nature of God, nature of the spiritual plane, and the nature of the world around. So if you take a little interest in these things, you can very easily make a progress towards the higher plane. It's not that it is immediately you have to go. You even go a few steps above. From there, when you look at the world around you, you can see that you are rising above the pleasure and pain of this world. One can go. So he's saying, like here, sometimes somebody gets A grade, somebody got F grade. Sometimes your business is skyrocketing. Otherwise, by COVID, the business is nosediving. Such things can happen in this world. So now when such things happen, right here in America, one fellow studied in UCLA, one Raja Raman from India, South India. When he came to America, he was an average man. But then he became a billionaire, multi-billionaire at one time. He did his chartered accountancy and became a multi-billionaire. In 2002, I think this came now. What do you call it? Recession. At that time, many of the businesses came crashing down. So he also, from billionaire, he became a middle class man, average man in society. Not that he became a beggar or something. He became middle class man. But then his friends called him, relatives called him, repeated phone calls came. They asked him, alas, we came to know that you lost all your money. And so repeated calls when they came, he just couldn't take it. It was becoming too much pressure inside his head. When he returned home, people in the neighborhood saw that for one week the house is not opened at all. They reported to police, and police found out later on that he had shot his two daughters and one son, and his wife and himself also. So it came in the paper. You might have read it many years ago. And the point is what? For him, money was God. He could not think of anything better than money. Money is honey. Ridiculous, because if you see, for some people money is God, for some people business is God, for some people the temporary relationships in this world is like God. It's everything for them. When these things are disturbed, they even go to the point of finishing their lives. You can see that. Consider a small kid playing in a sea beach, making some sandcastle or something. Now the parents are sitting in the car. The parents are also in the beach. Now they're telling the child, hey, my son, please come. It's getting dark now. We are going home now. But he has made a sandcastle. He has to leave it behind and go, correct now? He just dusts his hands. And then he goes away with the parents. So ask yourself the question, is the relationship of the child with the parents or with the sea beach? The parents. That's a more long-lasting relationship compared to the beach. Beach only goes one evening. Now, when he leaves behind the sandcastle, it may be washed away by the ocean waves. But the boy leaves it behind and goes. Similarly, our relationship is with our Supreme Parent. Like we worship Radha, Krishna, Lakshmi Narayan, Sita Ram. So we worship God. Our relationship is with Him. I told in the beginning of the class, Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke. We are all part and parcel of God. So our relationship is the spiritual plane. We have left God and come here. We have to go back here. This is permanent relationship. And our activity here is temporary. Just like all of you may be sometimes sent by a company to some on duty to another city. You go there. Maybe you stay, the company arranges a lodge for you, accommodation for you. And 2-3 days you do some work. And you check out of the lodge and you go back to your native place. You go back to your company. And also your native place or the home. You stay in the home. But when you go for on-duty work, those 3-4 days may be a little uncomfortable for you because you don't get house food. You have to stay in a hotel accommodation. Your wife, children, you don't get to meet them. You are away. And then you come back to your place. Similarly, this plane is the plane where we are originally from. We have come here for a temporary period of time. We go back here. But in this temporary place, we become attached to the temporary place so much that we forget this place. I remember in India, one little girl was born in Vrindavan, and she was sent to Delhi to study. You all know Vrindavan is a holy place. You all know that. It's a village, Her parents thought that let you go to Delhi and study. It's a good city. So they sent her to city. So she went to city and was studying in her, what do you call, they call us, the sister's sister. I think for her it's Mausi, they call in Hindi. She stayed in, what do you call in English, aunt? Sister's sister. So she stayed in her home and studying. And then the summer vacation came. She didn't want to go to the home in Vrindavan. She liked city life. She started calling her aunt and uncle as mama and papa, mom and dad. She started calling. They said, hey, we are not your mom and dad. Your mom and dad is in Vrindavan. But she had become attached to the city life. Similarly, we have left our original place and we have come here, and we have become attached to here. Here the mother and father is Durga and Shiva. We have become, and here in this world, we have become stuck in this world. We don't want to go back there. But the problem comes here, real problem. When we consider the things in this world to be permanent, and that is where chaos comes. This is the very first truth. All scriptures say that. Even, for example, in Bible, Jesus says, do not strive for wealth that will be eaten by a moth. Actually, he says, strive for wealth that will not be eaten by moths or rusted by wind. Or one more he says, eaten by moths or rusted by wind. Like that he says. So the whole idea is what? He's basically saying, give up the temporary, aspire for the permanent. But we can't give up the temporary overnight. Therefore, the marriage system is kept. Okay, you can marry, you can have a job, you can have children, you can do business. All this is allowed for you. But this body is simply a baggage. It will be left behind. At the time of death, what happens? The spirit comes out of the body, and the body is thrown into the fire, even by the relatives. This body is temporary, it's not permanent. It's going to last only for 60, 70. All of you think for a moment, 20, 30, 40 years down the line, what will your body be? Now I am 54 now. 30, 40 years down the line, this body will be finished. I should understand that as long as I am the spirit residing in this body, I should use this body to awaken my spiritual consciousness. And if I don't do that, then the spirit is given one more opportunity. We call reincarnation, we call it. Re means again, in means into, kar means flesh. So reincarnation means the soul is again put back into the fleshy body, made of flesh and bones. He's given one more opportunity. The body is only an instrument for you to exercise your desires. If you have more desires in this world, we come again. If you have one more desire, we come again, come again, come again. But if my desires are pure, aligned with the spiritual world, then I go back there. This is a very simple thing. So now, for most people, they don't look up at the spiritual world. Therefore, when failures are faced by them in this world, they are shattered. Correct, no? For example, see, everybody respects you, but someone will insult you in this world. You can't expect that the whole world respects you. So there are three things that Krishna says. Shita Ushna, Sukha Dukkha, Manapaman. Like right now, the winter is very cold here. Sometimes it is very hot. Similarly, sometimes you get something pleasurable. Say some food item you eat, it's very pleasurable. Sometimes food is not cooked properly. Sometimes somebody honors you or somebody dishonors you, like he says here. So all of you think for a moment, we all try to take the thing which is pleasurable to us, and we try to separate that which is painful. You want honor, but you want to separate dishonor. Can any of you say, how do we try to separate the honor from dishonor? What do we do in order to do that? For example, you are working in a company. Somebody respects you. Somebody talks ill of you. So that's very pricking pain for us. So how do we try to separate the two? Like we...
Feel calm within ourselves that we know what we are.
No, you are saying what we should be doing. But what I am asking is what we generally do.
We get irritated.
We get irritated in the mind. Yeah. What else we do after getting irritated? We get angry also. And we go to 2 dozen people to tell them who we are. Huh? We tell them that I am not an ordinary person. Say, I have done this, I have done that. After having done this dozen things, why he or she is saying that, I am not up to the mark. Especially imagine if somebody says you are incompetent, for example. Somebody says, it's a very painful statement. Huh? We try to prove that I am not incompetent. And we may do that with 2 dozen people. And that we lose a lot of time in that. So Lord Krishna says in Gita that if you are going to separate the two, honor and dishonor, which come as a package in this world, just like when you walk, your shadow also comes with you. Can you strip the shadow and throw it and come? No, it comes with you. Similarly, in this world, pleasure, pain come together. Honor, dishonor comes together. Cold and heat come together in this world. You can't separate them. But he says if you're going to put your head in separating the two, then you forget the goal of life, he says. Because you get bogged up in this world. This is the point in the Bhagavad Gita, and many verses Krishna says this. Do not become preoccupied in proving yourself to the people of the world. A small example we'll give. Say you are sitting in a place where suddenly there is fire coming from all 4 sides, and there is a hole at the top, and you have only one ladder lying. You can put the ladder and climb up and go out. You have the chance. But when you are putting the ladder and climbing up, somebody is ridiculing you, or somebody is yelling at you. So you have 2 choices, either to get down the ladder and catch their collar and ask, why did you ridicule me? Or why did you dishonor me? Or you understand that there is fire in this place, it's not a safe place. Let me get out of the place, let people do whatever they want, let them ridicule me or shout at me, I am going out. I can get out of the place. Which is safe, which is better to do? Getting out. But some of you may feel that why should I get out? First I have to prove to him that, how did he ridicule me? Or correct, no? So most people in this world, they want to, in Facebook, you know that in Facebook and WhatsApp and all, how many exchanges take place in people's, communications if you see. If you see so much rubbish, so much time goes in, proving oneself to be great personality. Is it not true? Ever since the multimedia, ever since social media has become aggravated, people have lost a good amount of the time in proving I am great, you are small, he is bad, I am better, and things like that. So therefore, this is actually all the more becoming proven now in the modern times, how people waste their time in gossiping. So the gossip starts with useless talk, then argumentation, then debate, then fault finding, and blasphemy about one another, bad mouthing about one another. These are things people waste time in. It says. So Lord Krishna says that do not waste time in these things in the world. Understand who you are. In essence, you are a spiritual personality, every one of us. We are divine, we are pure, we are covered by impurity, and that impurity should be removed. And that's possible by, see here, this is a time of calm. The ship is very smoothly sailing. And this is how we all want our life to be, smooth sailing. Everything should be, the food should be good, health should be appropriate, I should get a good job, I should get a good rank in the school, and everybody should be happy with me, everybody should love me, I should never commit a mistake, and everything goes well, and beginning to end. And people think, and in this way let all my life go, and when I become 80, 90, whatever time, one day I close my eyes, and death also should come very smoothly. People think like that, correct, no? I just lying in the bed, I closed my eyes and I died. So most people have a desire that their life go like that, but life is not like this always. See here, life could be like this. There could be a storm. So there is a time of calm, this is time of storm. So what the scriptures say, when there is time of calm time, at that time we have to prepare our consciousness. Like right now, all of you are sitting peacefully or hearing the lecture now. Not only you should hear the lecture, you also have to put it into practice, because knowledge alone is not enough. For example, you are studying in a college, but they don't just give you knowledge, they also give examination. Because if they don't give examination, then you are not going to study the books. Is it not true? In the same manner, the company gives you also training. There is a technical training and all that. And then afterwards, they put you through the job. Is it not true? Similarly, in spiritual life also, you acquire knowledge sitting in the class, but then you put into practice by chanting. You know, you have the bead bag, you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. So this is the laboratory apparatus. Huh? One has to exercise this. Huh? And also you offer the bhoga, you take prasadam, you worship the Lord. And we should not compromise on these things. And Prabhupada has given us 16 rounds of chanting. And if you chant Hare Krishna like this regularly, then the Shastras say your heart is getting cleansed. Huh? That the more the heart gets cleansed, you are just like if the specs is covered with mud, I can't see. But when I have cleaned it, now I can clearly see now. Huh? Like that, your perception, your vision becomes very clear. So like when we were in NCC, we were taught left, right, left, and all that we will do. How to hold a gun, how to. The boss is telling you suddenly fall on the ground or pick up the gun and run and shoot. So we had even a mock war also. So mock war means just for fun. It's not like a real war. So we have participated. I was there in NCC for about 4 years. Similarly, in a battalion, you see soldiers are trained for 10 years, 15 years when there is no war. But when the actual war comes, at that time you have to exercise what you learned. Correct. Therefore, they give a mock war and everything. Similarly, in our life also, all the while life is not going to be like this. When life is calm, you take in as much spiritual content you can. And then when this type of time comes, at that time you have to exercise. So Lord Krishna teaches this: hope for the best, but be prepared for the worst. Lord Krishna taught Arjuna this formula. Let us see what it is. Hato va prapsase swargam jitva va bokshase mahim tasmad uttishta kaunteya yuddhaya krita nishchaya. Krishna is telling Arjuna, fight the battle very confidently. He says, why? In case you fight the battle like a great warrior and die, you will go to heaven. And in case you don't lose your life in the battle, then your enemies will lose the life and you will be ruling over the earth with unraveled kingdom. So where is the loss for you? Either way, there is victory for you. Either victory here on earth or victory in heaven. So you fight. In the same manner, you will see anything happens. See, here the boy has a wound. This is the best that can happen if you're driving a cycle, that you got a wound, nothing serious more than this. Or one can get a fracture. It's more serious, isn't it? It's more serious than a wound, because fracture takes sometimes 1 month also, 2 months also. And what can be the worst thing that can happen? Accident and the person dies. That's the worst thing. So in the top I have shown you the worst situation. In the bottom I have shown you the best situation that can happen if there is an accident. In an accident, what is the best thing that can? Small wound you got. Little more serious means fracture. Most serious means accident, somebody dies. But in Gita, Lord Krishna says, even if somebody dies, there is no problem. He says, why? Because the soul doesn't die. The soul survives. The soul is actually resident of the body. He is not, like we are not the body, we are residing in this body. You are not the car, you are seated inside the car. And to the degree you identify with the car, you are going to be in trouble. For example, say you got a Mercedes-Benz car. Got a beautiful blue car. You parked it outside in a shopping mall and you went in. And some boys are playing cricket. And the correct ball came and hit the glass. And the glass is breaking in front of your eyes. As you're coming out of the shop, you see the glass breaking. Immediately something happens to your heart. Because the new car, beautiful car, the car which you love the most, you are shattered actually. Because you know that even though you can replace the glass or dent or whatever, it won't be the same. So you really get wild on the boys who are playing cricket. But then when you come near, you find there are 2 Benz cars standing and 2 blue cars are standing. Yours is one and somebody else is one. So the glass broke was not your car. Then immediately you become very, very happy. Immediately you become very happy. See, right now you felt almost shattered or broken down, and immediately you are feeling happy. Correct, no? So to the degree I am attached to the car, to that degree I am going to undergo a big ups and downs of, and that is why people's blood pressure rises. Why people get blood pressure, massive heart attacks? Why people get? because they are attached to things. Now somebody is attached to car, now somebody is attached to people's bodies, relatives' bodies, or somebody is attached to the house, or somebody is attached to a post, or somebody is attached to honor in this world. When those things are taken away, then people are shattered. But Krishna says that hope for the best, which is the bottom one, and hope for, be prepared for the worst. In either case, you, the spirit soul, is not connected to this world in any way. It's only time, like, seashore, you made a sandcastle. When the water from the ocean, the waves come and wash it away, the boy is crying, oh, I made a sandcastle. And parents are laughing. Why parents are laughing? They say that, my dear child, why are you bothering about it? This is not a permanent thing. We have built a permanent house. You can come and live there, not in this small sandcastle. But then even the so-called permanent house they made is not permanent, because they are not going to live there permanently. So that means don't get attached to temporary things of the world. That's one thing Krishna teaches. And then understand the real essence. See here, I have highlighted in yellow here, if you see. The scriptures are filled with descriptions of the inevitability of change in the material world. In this world, many things are changing. People's bodies are changing, correct, no? Like your own body, look at your body. You were a small baby. Now you become eventually youthful. Eventually the body gets older. The body is changing in this world. Somebody was slim and beautiful and they become fat and they get obesity sometimes. You see that, correct? People do change. So, and at the same time, eventually people get old. Bodies get old. The jet black hair becomes white hair. The tooth start falling away one by one. And one day suddenly you find the near and dear one is leaving the body. Like my parents actually left a couple of years ago. My sister was saying, she brought my parents came to Pune for 6 months. They were there in Pune. In the very old age. My father was 84, mother was 80. So when mother first left, my sister was saying that, oh, you left so quickly. You never told you are going to leave. I have so many things to speak to you. She was trying to wake her up, and I told her now she will not wake up. She has left the body now. She has gone to the next destination. But she was really shattered that she didn't tell her bye-bye before going. In this world, nobody knows whose body is going to conquer when. We do not know. Just like a tire of a truck or something gets punctured. The body can be punctured anytime. So therefore, we have to know that things are inevitably changing in the material world. And in those situations, how to think and act. Not only think with the head, but also how to act. That will be taught here in the scriptures. First of all, we should understand from the scriptures the knowledge. And then we have to perform the spiritual duty, sadhana. These are the two things I told you. You need knowledge and duty. Get the knowledge from the scriptures and perform the spiritual duty with your chanting or praying to God, bowing down to Him. Implement that knowledge in your life. Then you get strength. Then you can become steady in these situations. See, Prabhupada says, somebody can read this?
How can one situate oneself in perfect Samadhi? There is always some upheaval in the material world, which may be good or evil. One who is not agitated by such material upheavals, who is unaffected by good and evil, is to be understood to be fixed in
Krishna consciousness.
Krishna consciousness. Such consciousness in Krishna situates one in a perfect transcendental position called technically Samadhi.
Yeah. One who is not agitated, he says, by such material upheavals. That means one who has become mature now. Who is mature? A person knows that certain things cannot be changed. Like one example I'll tell you. Some things that happened in the past, which you didn't want to happen, but somehow it happened. We keep lamenting about it. Do you agree? We keep remembering about it. Say, like one boy was supposed to, he always would get centum in mathematics regularly. So today, also came back and said, today paper was superb. I wrote all the 5 questions, he said. All the 4 questions I wrote, he said. And one of his friends said, 4? Totally there were 5 questions. He said, no, I saw only 4, he said. Then he turned the paper around, and behind there was a fifth question, which he didn't notice. And the boy cried out, "Oh, I never saw this question. It's an easy question. I know the answer," but he didn't write it. He went back to the exam hall and said, "Sir, I forgot to write the fifth question. Can I be allowed in?" They said, "No, sorry. Now you have come out of the hall. You cannot go in." And the boy was like shattered. All his friends got 90, 95, even other boys, and he could get only maximum 80. So when such a thing happens in our life, we keep on thinking back, what a foolish thing I did, what a ridiculous thing, I was capable of getting sent on, but I didn't get. So this keeps on eating our head. You agree? So sometimes we lament like that. One time in our temple, we were 3-4 of us devotees. We were supposed to go in a train. So they had made a nice, they call paratha, I don't know whether you know paratha. You know paratha? The triangular one. They made a paratha, they made potato sabji, and they made pineapple halwa for the journey. They made makhana, many things they made. 5-6 items they made for travel. We were planning to travel 1.5 days by train. They prepared everything and they gave us a pack, and we were very happy. So throughout the train journey, we don't eat outside anything. We carry with us whatever prasad. So when we went to the station, the lunch time came, we told the devotee, "Hey, please take out the prasadam." And the devotee said, he looked here, there, and he realized he forgot it in the temple. He didn't carry it. And devotees were shocked. Then we called up the temple and asked, "Hey, please find out, is it in the temple?" They checked and said, "Oh, sorry, it's here. You guys forgot." Because sometimes we don't keep count of the bags which we take. 5-6 bags we take, we leave one bag behind. Correct, no? And the devotees were like shattered. They said, "Alas, what will we eat for the lunch?" Then we ate only bananas and orange and things like that in the train. But no. Like one or two fellows in the train, they were remembering all the items. Oh, they made paratha. Oh, they made aloo sabji. Oh, they made papaya halwa. They were like repeatedly remembering. Repeatedly remembering. All the nice items. So I was telling them, by remembering the item, you are not going to get it. it's better for you to forget it, correct? And whatever God has sent you today, you eat it and be satisfied, correct? So that is the point. Maturity means what? Don't get agitated. What cannot be cured must be endured. Endured, it is said. What cannot be cured must be endured. So you just, then don't be agitated by it. Similarly, somebody has passed away, you can't bring them back. Their body is already sent to the graveyard, it's burned now. Look at your life ahead. In case you are fired from the job, don't get broken-hearted. Immediately find out what are the other alternative jobs I can apply, and how much experience do I have, and what are my strengths with which I can apply to the new jobs. Forget about the old job, and don't keep lamenting that last three months I didn't have a good relation with my boss, or I was a little lazy, I didn't do that. Okay, if you can learn some lessons from it, it is good. Otherwise, there is no point worth thinking about the past. We should look the life ahead. Like one small boy called Dhruva was insulted by his stepmother. She told him that you can't sit on the lap of your father, only my son can sit, she said. So this boy became shattered, broken-hearted. He went to his own mother and cried, "She's not letting me sit on father's lap, she should be punished." So his mother told the boy that, "You see, we both are queens married to one king, but the king loves her more, not me." And she told that, "Don't harbor any malice for anybody in your heart. You think of your progress. If you want a kingdom better than your father, go to forest and meet Lord Vishnu, and God will give you, God can give you anybody anything. He's capable. But you think of your progress. In a company also, you can pull others' leg down, or you can think of your progress. Which is better? Think of your progress. Don't pull others' leg down. If you pull their leg, they are not going to keep quiet. So you think of your progress," she said that. So in the same manner, that means that is actually maturity, and not get agitated. He says, that's the point. Yeah. See, Prabhupada says, don't expect smooth sailing in this world. Prabhupada meant that being devotees of Krishna doesn't mean There will be no rough seas. Even for Arjuna, Krishna said, Arjun, don't think life will be a bed of roses. It's not going to be a cakewalk for you. You are all Pandavas, you have to go to forest, you have to face the battle. But Krishna told them one good news. If you remember God, if you remember me, I'll be there to guide you. I'll be there to help you. But I am not promising you that you won't have any struggle. Even as devotees, you will have struggle. But the one advantage devotees have is you are not orphan. You can pray to Him, and then Lord will give you intelligence. What to do in this situation, how to act in such a way that you can come out of the problem. Like one time we were going to Bombay to one donor's house. He was giving some big donation for our NVCC temple building. So there were 8 of us. We boarded a lift. And the lift went up. We had to go to 21st floor. Between one floor and another floor, the lift got stuck in between because of power cut. And the boy in the lift said, see, power will come in 3 minutes max. All of you can be patient, he said. Now 3 minutes were over. Then it became 3.5. It became 4 minutes. We started feeling a lack of oxygen inside the lift. So we were telling the boy, can you phone somebody, And the boy was trying to phone and nobody was picking up. And the boy was telling, last week only I heard in the newspaper that one lift got stuck and some 5 people died. The boy was telling. Because the lift boy, he has read about the lift. So as soon as he said that, immediately we all took our bead bag, immediately. Started chanting Hare Krishna. That's the best thing we could do. What else can you do? Now we thought, Antakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevara. Correct, no? Yeah. So, Antakale, at the time of Antakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram, you remember the Lord at the time of death. Now we thought we are stuck now, like that lift, people died, we may also pass away. But as soon as we chanted a few moments, immediately the lift went up. Power came again. But why I am saying this, as Prabhupada says here, as devotees, we have this opportunity to immediately think of the Lord when there is a danger. Om Tat Vishnum Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Suryaha. As soon as there is a danger, immediately think of the Lord. Correct, no? Yeah. Another interesting thing is saying, if you are fixed on Krishna, then we will remain fixed in the face of any calamity. When our small world dissolves and our plans go spinning off into meaninglessness, our complete sense of identity will also spin off, he says. So, in Goa, there was one big businessman. This businessman joined hands with 2 other businessmen, and they were planning to become partners, 3 partners. And their plan was that each of them will put something like 5 crores, just totally 15 crores they put and started a business. And they made a plan that no 2 of us can take out the money. All 3 of us have to sign. But it was becoming a little difficult many times because all 3 were not available. They were all flying here and there. Some arrangement they made in which this fellow got cheated and they looted all his money and they ran away. So all his 5 crores was lost, his life savings, which he had put in the business. He thought, I'll make 5 crore into 10 crore, but then all 5 crores were lost. Now of course, he had some own house and little money. He was so shattered, he was planning to commit suicide, this fellow also. But on the day when he had made up his mind to commit suicide, there was a big pandal program with kirtan going on. So he came to the program sitting behind. He saw one Swamiji, and Swamiji had a magnetic smile and a very shining personality. And then after the lecture, he felt like meeting him. And he went to his room and he loudly cried, my partners have cheated me. They have taken away my money. I don't have a single penny now. They have driven me away. I feel my life is finished now and everything. So this Maharaj told him, why are you thinking like this? You see, sometimes in our previous life, we must have taken somebody's money. And in this life, that same money is taken away from us. That possibility is always there. But we don't know what is the karma. But whatever it is, this money which went away from your hand, it is good only it went away. Imagine if you had this money and somebody murdered you and took you this money, it's no good. Without any damage to you, the money has gone away. Don't worry, you do some job and don't foolishly contemplate on suicide, because suicide will make you become a ghost. He explained to him about the Atma, the spirit, and difference of the spirit and the body and everything. And the man immediately understood. And then he decided to not die. And then eventually, in the next 2-3 years, he got initiated. He's an initiated devotee now in Goa. His life was saved. Because for him, the business field was a small field. Here you see, when our small world dissolves and our plans go spinning off, the yellow highlight I made, you see, into meaninglessness, our complete sense of identity will also spin off. For him, when business loss happened, it appeared that in life everything is a failure. And then our sannyasi explained to him that your business life is a small aspect of your life, and your life with relationships with the parents and friends, that's another part of life. Your entertainment is another part of life. Your leisure is another part of life. Your hobbies are another part of life. Your time with God is another part of life. Your own health is another part of life. There are multiple there are so many aspects of life. Your business life is one small aspect of your life. It's not everything. I like that I explained it. Therefore, in the top, you see in the highlight yellow, if you are fixed on Krishna, then we will remain fixed in the face of any calamity. Because this Swami was fixed in Krishna, he could give him that confidence that spiritual world is eternal, material world is temporary. Spiritual business means the Nitya Lila, the happy exchanges with the Lord in spiritual world is permanent situation. So return to your original home. Go back home, back to Godhead. That he gave him confidence in that. Whatever faith we have invested in matter, we should invest in Krishna. If one is thus situated, even at the hour of death, one will not be bewildered, but can enter into the kingdom of God. There is one pastime in the Srimad Bhagavatam, when the great king Parikshit, when he was in the mother's womb, one Ashwatthama sent a Brahmastra to kill him in the womb, because he thought he's the last child in the parampara of Pandavas. He wanted to kill it. But Lord Krishna went with his gada round and round, protecting the child. He was saved. Later on, he was born. He became Parikshit, the king of the world, next to Yudhishthira Maharaj. Correct, no? He was ruling the world very well. He was very chivalrous king. Not only he inherited the kingdom from his grandfathers, he challenged the world kings 3 times. Is there anyone in this world who would like to wage a war against me? And I don't want to be king if anybody else is better than me. So 3 challenges he gave, none of the kings in the world came forward, which goes to show that even on merit also he became king, not only by inheritance. So he was a very powerful king. He subdued Kali and he protected the people of Kali Yuga very well. But at one point of time, one small mistake happened by him. When he went to the forest, one day he was very thirsty and hungry. He went to the hermitage of a sage who was sitting and doing meditation. He thought that the sage is not giving me a cup of water. He is not giving me a sitting place. He is neglecting me. He became a little upset. He took a dead snake which was lying nearby and put it around his neck, and he went away. But when he returned back to the palace, he realized that maybe the sage was doing meditation. I made a blunder, I made a mistake. And very soon he came to know that the sage's son, small boy, Brahmana boy, he cursed this king to die in 7 days. Of course, the king could retaliate. He had the power, but he didn't retaliate. He went to the bank of Ganges. He sat and heard the Srimad Bhagavatam, and all the devatas showered flowers upon him. And 7th day he went back home, back to Godhead. That's where this verse comes. It is said that if one is situated even at the hour of death, one will not be bewildered. It is said that Nottamaślokavartanam jishtam tat katham mritam syat sambramantakaalepi smaratam tat padam bhujam. Even at the time of death, the devotee of the Lord will not cry, he will not be bewildered, he will not be confused. He can enter into the kingdom of God very smoothly, because he never asked the Lord, you saved me in my birth time, will you save me now also? He was ready to leave the body in 7 days and go back. Who is this in the picture? Anybody knows? Ajendra. Although he was caught by a crocodile by the leg, he is lifting a flower and offering it to Vishnu. That means he is doing archana even when a leg is being caught by a crocodile. This is what we all have to learn. In our life, no matter how busy your job may be, no matter what problems may be in your home, you should not stop chanting God's names every day. 4 rounds, 8 rounds, 12 rounds, 16 rounds. So whatever you are doing, try to increase. You have to gradually come up to 16 rounds. And if you say that, sorry Prabhu, first I have to sort out these problems. Imagine if the elephant said that, first let me get rid of the crocodile first and then let me pray to God. He would have never attained Vaikuntha. He had the crocodile catching his leg. Along with that, he prayed to God. Therefore, he attained Vaikuntha. So, imagine you go in front of the ocean and say, let all the waves of the ocean subside, then I will take a bath. The ocean waves will never subside and you will never take a bath. And our body will be stinking always. Yeah. So, we cannot wait for the ocean waves to subside. We have to take a bath along with that. Similarly, this is a very deep lesson for all of us while living in this world. Along with all the problems, take out some time to, it's like, you can ask the children when they write, they're writing the examination paper, sometimes the pencil becomes blunt. You will ask him a question. What's your good name? Avjay, you are writing a test with your pencil. Now there are about 20 minutes left for the exam to get over. And you want to fastly write and complete all the questions. But suddenly you found that your pencil has become blunt. It's not writing legibly. It has become practically fully blunt. Now you have a sharpener. So will you take the sharpener and sharpen the pencil and then write? Or will you think that if I sharpen it, time will go waste and then I won't be able to complete the paper? So which one will you do? You'll sharpen it. Intelligent boy, isn't it? Yeah. So he will sharpen it. You'll ask him what he will do. You'll sharpen it, yeah. But won't you lose some time in sharpening?
Yes, but like the paper will still be better.
What is it?
The paper would still be better.
The paper would still be better if you write. But if you write without sharpening it, it's going to be blunt. Similarly, in our life, you can see this world brings forth challenges to us. And our head is heated up. And day in and day out, we are struggling with the problems and to sort out. Are you going to go on with life like this or take out time to sharpen the pencil, which is equivalent to coming to these classes, chanting Hare Krishna, studying spiritual books, finding out your original position, correct now? So this is like sharpening the pencil. So what do you think? Most people in the world are sharpening pencil or not sharpening?
Not sharpening.
Not sharpening. They are allowing the life to be blunt. They're dragging with their life, which we don't want to do. We want to sharpen the pencil. So that means simultaneously we have to do. You write the exam also, whenever the pencil becomes blunt, then you sharpen it. That's what Gajendra did. He is being caught by the crocodile, but he's not sorting out the crocodile problem now. He has turned his attention to God. He's lifting the flower and offering. So, and he chanted the name also. Sontasara Survalena Grihita Artho. Artho means he was feeling great pain also. Drishtva Garut Matikarim Kavupat Chakram Uchipya Sambujakaram Giramaha Krichran Narayana Akila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. He said, Oh Narayana, spiritual master of the whole world, oh Lord, I am surrendering to you. My leg is paining surely, but what can I do? I can't escape it. Let me surrender to you, and you know what is best for me. And Lord Narayana took him back home, back to Godhead. He took the spirit back to the spiritual world. Yeah. So therefore, in Samadhi stage, being situated in such a position of Samadhi, one is never shaken, even in greatest difficulty, he says. That is explained in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. Yeah. Even if some accidents happen, like, diseases or scarcity, accidents, death of a most dear relative, all these things will happen. But devotee knows they come and they go and do not affect his duties. Yeah. Like recently, for example, in Bangladesh, some Hindu-Muslim, these things happened during Durga Puja holidays. See, in the Durga Puja time, what happens? Hindus want to carry their Durga deity in the street, and do a procession in big number. Now the Muslims see that and they become envious that, hey, these fellows are, becoming popular. We will become even more popular. We are majority, they are minority. Then they attack the temples and they try to create trouble. Correct, no? They create trouble. Now, some people become afraid. Seeing this. Some people are dreaming that Muslims will come and attack us anytime. This doesn't happen every now and then. Once in a while it happens, correct now? It happens. So what we can do if some Hindus are afraid that Muslims may vandalize our place, or they may attack us or beat us or kill us. Some Hindus are afraid now. So what should they do, according to you? Yes?
Continue chanting.
Continue chanting.
Protect.
Make a mechanism for protection also. There is a practical thing you can do. And after making the best arrangement you can do, then just chant, go on. Go on with your spiritual life. And these problems generally are caused by political minded people. In this world, in the name of religion, not only in the name of religion, in the name of science also people are dropping bombs. In the name of religion also people are doing riots. In any name, anybody can do anything. Ultimately, it is a exploitative mentality that's coming out in people. You can see that. Those who genuinely are concerned about God and everything, they have, they are doing their bhajan peacefully. You can see that. So these things come and go in this world. Like, when Twin Towers were crashed, you know that. 1 week, the air traffic was nil. Do you know that? Nobody boarded any plane. They thought that all planes are going to enter different buildings. They thought. But after 1 week, everything was normal. Similarly, in India, I had gone to Malpe beach in Karnataka with a group of 30-40 students for a camp. So I saw in Malpe beach, nobody was there. Only we were there. Because Malpe beach is a very crowded place generally. Marina beach and Malpe beach also. I asked why. They said 2 days ago only tsunami had happened in Marina beach. So all over the world, people were afraid to go near the oceans. They thought oceans are going to swell like that. After 1 week, what do you think happened? Guess what happened? Everything was normal. In this world, you will see that these things come and go. So don't get bogged down. Make sure that you are spiritually advancing. If you are doing a spiritual activity, that's a permanent results are produced. Like if you are having a, what do you call it? They have this piggy bank, they call it piggy bank. You keep putting coins. Half is full. Say 1 year or 2 years you don't put any coin. Again you start putting coin. Where will it start now? From where you left. So bhakti is like that. If you're doing spiritual progress, wherever you left, if you left at 20%, you start from 21. You left in 60, you start from 61, like that. Whereas material life is not like that. Material life, whatever you left, you leave it. And you go ahead to the next situation. Everything is like, you start with Baba Black Sheep again. Therefore, see the heading. Knowledge plus fixity and duty is Samadhi. That means acquire the knowledge of Krishna consciousness. Whatever we are talking today is knowledge from the Bhagavad Gita. The more the knowledge awakens, you understand who are you and everything. And also fixity in the duty of chanting and sadhana. These two are enough for giving you. Samadhi means complete absorption. You will become free from all agitations of mind. Like we say, prayers go up, and what comes down? Blessings comes down. Yeah, even Gandhi says here, you see, when doubts haunt me, when disappointments stare me in the face, and I see not one ray of hope in the horizon, I turn to Bhagavad Gita and I find a verse comforting to me. See, this is Srila Prabhupada in America here. Read the yellow highlighted portion, somebody.
Even though Krishna is not always showing us the solution to the obstacles we will encounter on our way to the goal at every instance, we follow him anyway. It means following him even when he is not revealing himself to us through chanting or darshan of deity. That is faith.
Yeah. When Prabhupada came to America, 1 year, there was no response at all. He was actually sitting in a room expecting people to come, nobody was coming. So he thought, let me go out. Then he went to the park, like what you see here. And he started beating the mridanga and doing kirtan, and then gradually the movement started. So faith means some trust in something sublime. He didn't give up. Because he didn't give up, therefore the whole world is now able to benefit from his teachings. So I told you about insecurity and inadequacy. Look at that boy in that cartoon. what is happening here in his house? The guests are looking at his sister because she got a first rank, and the boy actually has probably fifth or sixth rank, and nobody is paying him attention. Hello, pay attention to me. Look at me. He's saying. You seeing that? He's jumping up and down behind. Correct, no? So sometimes we feel like this also in our lives when we are not paid attention. This is called insecurity. We call it. But the insecurity can be cleared off when we have connection with God. Like you see here in the top left corner, you find Lord Rama and Lakshman going to Shabari. And although Shabari is an old woman, 90 plus years old, nobody will want to spend time with somebody who is 90 plus. They will think their life is almost over. But here you find Rama is going and spending time accepting the fruit from her. This is the nature of God. God is so kind-hearted that, although she may be insignificant from a social point of view, he is going and spending time with her, looking at her devotion. Similarly, below you see Krishna and Sudama. Sudama is a poor Brahmana, and Krishna is a king's son. So, and Krishna went on to become Dwarakadish. But how is he coming running to receive Sudama and washing his feet? So, actually, when we understand these Leelas of Krishna, our faith in the Lord increases. And we become very firmly situated in bhakti. And that will give us freedom from insecurity and inadequacy. I'll stop here because these examples, see, I've shown one example for rest and trust. It's easy for you to understand. Correct? Now, Drona Drupada's relationship rested. Krishna's Sama relationship is a relationship of trust. Another is Karna Shalya relationship is one of rest. They fought with each other, and then you can find Krishna Arjuna. So in this world, because we are not connecting with Krishna, God, then we have a rusting relationship, and the rusting relationship is increasing our inadequacy and insecurity. But if you have trusting relationship, your heart will be flooding with joy and cheerfulness and affect love, and you experience love with God, then you can share that love with many in this world. So two examples I have shown you, Drona Drupada versus Krishna Sudama. Here I am showing you Karna Shalya versus Krishna Arjuna. You can see the relationship. There are pastimes connected to this, it will take time, so I am not explaining. It's called self-awareness. Actually, self-awareness is possible if you regularly come for the satsangas, Yeah. Like you come for the spiritual programs like this. You begin with Bhagavad Gita. In the second chapter, there is a self-awareness program taught from 2.13 onwards, the second chapter. And 2.56 to 2.72, second chapter of Gita, Krishna explains about one person called Sthita Prajna, self-realized person. So the self-realized person is doing what you are saying. He's self-reflective. How does he sit? How does he walk? How does he speak? For example, if somebody is affectionate to him, how he speaks back to those people. If somebody is angry towards him, how does he respond? So in both cases, he is very cool. He doesn't get agitated. Similarly, when he's walking in this world of mind and senses, he doesn't get allured by objects, nor does he become irritated by others' behavior. So that section will be very helpful because Krishna gives many clues on how to attain that state in our life also. So second chapter is the chapter. So I have a seminar called Self-Awareness and Self-Management. First, we have to become self-aware. Self-aware means I am not the body, I am spirit soul. And I am covered by this, I am seated in this bodily car. I am driver of the car. I am different. So, for example, if somebody calls me, I am black, for example, or I am fair, they are only calling the car's color. Car is black or fair, but I am different from the car. Correct, no? Somebody calls me fat or thin. They are again talking about the car only. They are not seeing me. So I will not get insulted because I know I am different from the car. Correct, no? Yeah. Similarly, in this world, I know clearly that dualities means Sukha, Dukkha, Shita, Ushna, Manapama, they come together in pairs. They come. So you can't separate the two. Say, for example, if you have your own house, it's advantage. But if the own house has cracks coming or any water leaking, then you only have to repair. If you're in a rented house, it's not an advantage. Anytime they can ask you to vacate. But one advantage is if some water is leaking, you can leave and go to another place. So you will find both the houses have some pros and some cons. You agree? Some pros and cons are there, both of them. That means the material world is like that only. Everything comes in duality, sukha dukkha comes. We just like, in one of my classes in Pune, it was very, very hot, the summer heat. So people came and put on the fan, and the fan was going so fast, it was practically beating them. Initially, when the fan was removing their sweat, they were happy. But after some time, you feel like you don't feel comfortable with the fan. When you switch off the fan, it causes sweating. When you put on the fan has only one speed. So either way, you have to choose between the two troubles, whether you want the trouble of the fan or without the fan sweating trouble. So self-awareness means actually to be able to observe oneself. I am different from the body, I am servant of God, I belong to spiritual plane, I am temporarily trapped in this body. And I have to quit this body and go back to my original place. And if you don't identify with the body and this world around you, and you identify with God, then you don't come back here. But if I identify with it and I try to prove to people and fight with people, then I have to, for finishing the account, I have to come back again and again. So the second chapter of Gita is very, very amazing it is. It explains. You have a copy of Gita with you? Bhagavata you have with you. Yeah. Self-awareness and then self-management means you manage your emotions. Managing emotions means you understand that, I don't want to waste my time in fighting with people.
Yeah, that was my second question. Like, how do we stop trying to prove ourselves to others? Because someone else is not living my life.
Yeah.
I cannot keep debating that what I did is right.
Yeah, correct.
It's me who undergoes my pain and my happiness.
Correct, yeah.
And my decision is something to
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah,
I
correct.
should be accountable for both the positives
Correct.
and negatives in it.
Correct.
So,
Then why should others comment about us, when they don't know exactly about anything? That's a good question. So here two things are very important. You should make sure that you are living a life in alignment with God's will. That you have to make sure. And once you are sure about that, then you don't have to bother about the world at all. There's a story of a father and son who got a donkey, the market. Yeah, isn't it? Yeah. If they both sat on the donkey, people criticized. If father sits, people criticized. If son is sitting, they said, old man is walking, son is sitting. Then they both lifted the donkey. Still people laughed at them. Then they threw away the donkey in a river, So people in the world will always say something around you. At the same time, one important thing also to notice, I may say that I don't bother about the world around me. I don't care, I may say. But I should care for God's will. Because I should make sure that I am walking according to the right path laid down by God. Because if I don't care for the world and I don't care for God also, then I may be a madman. I may be crazy. Because you have to ultimately align with the true north, which is universal law. And that is to be done. If you do that, your inner core will become very strong. Your character will become very strong, and then you will be unagitated by the winds that blow around you. You will not be bothered by that. Like we say, the caravan goes on, the dogs may bark. You say, you can go on. Like for example, we are wearing the sadhu's dress, shaven head. So some people bow down to us when they see us. Other people tease us. Like one mother was having a baby. She was telling that if you make noise, I'll hand you over to that booth. She was telling, she was actually threatening the child by showing us like a booth, And the other people who come and bow down to us, oh, Swamiji, So we are so used to all these things, we just don't care at all. Because we are sure that we are walking the path laid down by God. God says, if you do this, you will come back to me. So you have confidence in His words. The more Krishna's words become important for us, and we don't bother about what the people in the world, people who praise me today may not be there tomorrow. Yeah, they just come and go. They actually are sent by God to test us. How we respond to them. Teach us something. So therefore, we should learn to respond wisely and not react. If we react, we only suffer by reacting. Reactive mode means we get angry, and even after they go also, we keep on thinking in our mind, why they said like this about me, I'm not so bad. That means we are hurting ourselves more. There was one elephant which came out of the forest, and one flower plant, like sunflower plant. The sunflower told him that, hey, look at you. Look at you. You are not having frills like us. We are having beautiful flowers, flower petals. You don't have any petals. So the elephant looked in the mirror and thought, oh, I look like Shavan. I look ugly, So what do I do? So then the elephant went and plucked many lotus leaves and purchased Fevicol from the market and then stuck, all over his body so that he will also have some petals all over his body, including face also. So he went to the flower and said, oh, flower, flower, how do you think I look like now? Now you have flower petals, I also have petals. What do you say? And the flowers laughed. Now what happened? The elephant was climbing up the mountain. At that time, he toppled because he couldn't see the mount properly because of the leaves all over his body. The lotus leaf, you have seen big, big leaves. So he toppled and fell into the lake. Then all the leaves were gone. Again, he looked like before. Then the flower again laughed and told him, hey, elephant, don't worry. Elephants are elephants, flowers are flowers, he said. We are flowers, we have petals. You are elephant, you have some capabilities, we have other capabilities. We may smile beautifully and you may lift logs of wood. So he said, don't try to become like us and we will not try to become like you, he said. So this is a very great learning also that in our life, when others criticize you, if you are very strongly rooted in spiritual life, you will be able to evaporate it from your mind because you know that you are rightly situated. But in spiritual life, you are not strong. Then others ridicule. You may temporarily throw it off, but it will eat up your mind later on. So therefore, chanting Hare Krishna, here he says that knowledge and duty, both you have to do. Acquire knowledge from Gita, and the duty is to chant Hare Krishna. Many other people don't know what happens when you chant Hare Krishna, but if you chant Hare Krishna regularly, gradually the impurities in our mind are cleansed. One of the impurities is also, envy for others and pride and anger and all these things are cleared. When they are cleared, then we have no issues. We can just go on. Yeah. I think they have put up this, that's why it's saying, huh?
No, we are trying to reach some steps.
Oh, is it? Yeah, yes.
So let me give an example first. So like we have many, ways of doing recreation nowadays.
Yeah.
Amazon Prime. Okay. We have G Studio. We have many different channels we can choose content. Similarly, there are many gods. I have been seeing, praying Ram, Krishna.
There are not many gods. God is only one.
Yes. Let me please complete my question.
Yeah.
So there are many forms of God, even if we say there is only one God. Rama, Krishna, Hanumanji, Durgaji, and recently got infected with Sai Baba. Which God we have to choose?
Sai Baba is not God. Sai Baba is a human being. Sai Baba himself said, I can show you an interview. Jnana Bhumi, our Manian interviewed Puttapat Sai Baba directly. He asked him, everybody is praying you as God. Are you God? He laughed and said, no, I am not God, he said. But the whole world is saying you are Bhagavan Satya Sai Baba. He said, what can I do? They are making me God. He said that. Similarly, there is Vishnu Tattwa and there is a Jiva Tattva. Because Vishnu Tattva means, for example, Krishna is called Purushottam. Vishnu is called Purushottam. Rama is also called Purushottam. They are all in the same Tattva. That means God doing triple acting in three forms like Rama, Krishna and Vishnu. And Durga Devi, like others like Durga or Sita or Lakshmi or Radharani, they are all in Shakti Tattva, we call them. Shakti is subordinate to Shaktiman. And then others like you are saying Ganesha, Kartikeya and all these devatas, there are 33 crores of devatas and they all are actually Jiva Tattvas.
Is it 33 crore or it is 33 koti?
Koti are the same only. Koti is crore only.
Koti means types, right?
No, 33 crores. See, the population of India itself is 148 crores. Correct, no? So 33 crores is nothing. It's not a very big number.
Initially, I was thinking the same, that it is 33 crore.
Yeah.
But then gone through some content all around the
See,
world.
people sometimes to because some of them feel little ashamed that, we are talking about 33 crores of devatas. So some of the so-called intellectuals try to give some explanation like, this kind of things they do. Actually, 33 crores is the true thing. I can show you a quote from the scripture. There are 33 crores. Like Brahma is a big demigod and he has got many, many associates. Indra has many, many associates like that. Shiva has many associates like that. There are totally 33 crores, but all of them are called devatas. They are not the Supreme God. Supreme God is only, the Supreme, like in the Bhagavad also you will find Arjuna telling Krishna, you are Param Brahma, Param Dhama. Krishna, Rama, Vishnu, they are all in the Supreme category. And everybody else is subordinate. Just like in India, how many chief ministers you have? But how many prime ministers you have? Only one prime minister you have. Everybody else is chief minister. CMs are subordinate to PM. So there is only one Supreme. And that one Supreme may be doing triple acting in 3 different moods. Like Vishnu's mood is very reverential. And Rama is little more intimate. And Krishna is most intimate. Just like Prime Minister in Parliament is one mood. Prime Minister at home is another mood. I would say that, we have to go through Bhagavad Gita as it is, every day, one page at least. You keep reading one or two pages every day. Have a practice and then chant one round every day. Keep it a practice. And then you will find all these questions will be answered as you proceed ahead, because many a times our doubts spring from our observation of the world around us. What you observed Hindus doing. Therefore, Sri Prabhupada, threadbare has answered all these questions in his commentaries. In 7th chapter you will read, 9th chapter you will read. Very nicely, yeah. Yeah, I also did one series called Gitamrita Bindu, I call it. In my playlist, YouTube channel, if you go, playlist, Gitamrita Bindu, if you put English and Hindi, 2 languages. Each session is only 30 minutes only. Every day you hear 30 minutes and 108 sittings you will finish. Yeah, there you will get all these understandings also. I have a program at 2 o'clock. I have to rush. It takes about 45 minutes, I think. No? They'll be waiting for us. Students have come already. So this program was, I think, 11 to 1:30 or 2, I think, correct? No? You all have to take your lunch also. But nice meeting you. Thank you for your attendance. Thank you. Shri Prabhupada ki.